Assalamualaikum, bachcho. So the topic that we will be doing today is reaction kinetics. Okay. So the first thing that we must understand is how do we measure the rate of a reaction? There are few ways that we had studied at AS levels. What is rate of a reaction? Rate of a reaction can be classified as the speed at which the reactants are consumed. It is the speed at which the products are formed. It can be the speed at which the color changes, if there is a color change involved, and it can be the speed at which a gas evolves. Anything that you do not understand, that these are different ways of observing the rate of a reaction. Reaction तो हो रहा होता है, अपनी speed में proceed हो रहा होता है, but these are different ways of observing the rate of a reaction. Anything that you do not understand in this, please let me know. अब there are different ways of observing this. हर चीज को observe करने का तरीका होता है. Is this clear? All of this is about AS, right?
Yes, sir. Something like that.
इसी तरह कुछ something else that we also did in AS level. Collisions of particles need to be effective for a reaction to occur. So what is an effective collision? A collision which has enough energy and the correct orientation. Is this right or wrong?
Yes.
Yes, is this clear or not?
Yes.
So we have already studied if we increase the concentration, तो ज़्यादा particles आ जाते हैं in a smaller space, तो हमारे पास उसमें automatically जो है वो reactants are closer together, hence they collide more. If they are colliding more, there are more frequent collisions. अब जो effective है वो तो नहीं रहती है, but because the collisions are more frequent, the more number of particles collide with each other, giving in the production of the product relatively quickly. हम ये नहीं कहते ज्यादा product बन रही है, हम कहते हैं product जल्दी बन रही है. Be very clear about it. ठीक हो गया बच्चे? Anything
सिर्फ frequent collision और effective collision में फर्क होता है क्या?
बहुत फर्क है. Frequent, Manal, we are specifically talking about frequent वो है कि कितनी in a certain time कितनी collisions हो रही. Example देता हूँ. For example, if I tell you that 100 particles are colliding in a second, if I increase the concentration, मैं एक reactant की concentration बढ़ा दूँ, and if I tell you 100 में से 20 are effective, just giving you a percentage, 100 में से 20 are effective, तो अब frequent होने का क्या मतलब है? 150 collisions होगी. बात समझ आ रही है बेटा?
Frequent मतलब जितने concentration है उतने ही particles collide हो रहे हैं.
अब एक सेकंड में 100 particles were colliding, and if I tell you they're colliding more frequently, तो एक ही सेकंड में हो सकता है 150 particles are colliding with each other. Is this clear बेटे?
अच्छा, या जी समझ गया.
इसका मतलब है कि अगर 20% effective थी तो effective अभी भी 20% ही है, हो सकता है, but obviously अब 150 के 20% ज्यादा effective हो गई, and you will greater number of effective collisions, right or wrong?
तो सर हम लोग जब आंसर कंस्ट्रक्ट करते हैं तो फिर effective लिखते हैं ना?
Yes, we want the collisions to be effective for a reaction to occur. बट रेट में अगर कोलिजन्स इफेक्टिवनेस उसकी उतनी, अगर हम फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ा देते हैं कोलिजन्स की, तो उससे भी रेट बढ़ जाता है. इज दिस क्लियर बच्चे?
जी.
ओके, सो नाउ वी विल बी डूइंग सम बेसिक ऑर्डर ऑफ रिएक्शन, रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन. अब हम इसको मैथमेटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव इसका देखेंगे. सो नाउ द फोकस दैट वी विल हैव इन A2 इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग the rate of the reaction as the consumption of the reactants. पहले सबसे पहली चीज तो ये कि अब जो reactants की कंजम्पशन है उससे मैं रेट को रिलेट करूंगा. ये बात क्लियर है या नहीं है?
जी सर।
अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू कि इसको किसी से भी रिलेट किया जा सकता था। आई एम नॉट चेंजिंग द फैक्ट। हमने पहले देखा सर देयर आर मेनी वेज टू अंडरस्टैंड द रेट। अब हम बात करेंगे रेट की स्पेसिफिकली रिएक्टेंट्स किस हिसाब से कंज्यूम हो रहे हैं, हाउ ऑफ्टन और हाउ क्विकली द रिएक्टेंट्स आर बीइंग कंज्यूम्ड। अच्छा, अगेन रिएक्टेंट सॉलिड भी हो सकता है, गैसेस भी हो सकता है, बट फॉर द सेक ऑफ दीज कैलकुलेशंस we will try to understand it as the concentration of the reactant. So consumption of the reactants को मैं कह सकता हूं कि concentration of the reactants ये बात समझ आइए बच्चे या नहीं गई? तो that is our prime focus for A2, that the rate of the equation, rate of the reaction, sorry, has to be connected to the concentration of the reactants. ये बात क्लियर है बच्चे?
यस सर।
Okay. So सबसे पहले have a look at this. If I tell you that A plus B was giving me C plus D, so what are my reactants? A and B are my reactants, and C and D are my products, right or wrong?
राइट।
Okay, now if somehow I figure out that मैं A की concentration बढ़ा रहा हूँ, and if I'm increasing the concentration of A, the rate of my reaction is increasing directly proportional to the concentration of A. So how can I write it? I'll say okay, the rate of my equation is proportional to the concentration of A. Can this be a case?
यस।
हो सकता है ना? This
यस।
mathematical possibility. अच्छा, सबसे बड़ी और सबसे important बात, what happens to the rate of the reaction as the reaction proceeds? What happens to it?
सर शुरू में रेट इंक्रीजेस,
नहीं
फिर
जी, I
उसके बाद
cannot say
एक पॉइंट पे आके
शुरू में रेट की बात हो रही है। देखो, रेट की बात हो रही है। I cannot say शुरू में रेट increases. शुरू में there is a certain rate. What happens to the rate as the reaction progresses?
बिकम्स कांस्टेंट।
You are right. No, it doesn't become constant. The rate of the reaction gradually slows down. Always rate of the reaction हमेशा शुरू में ज्यादा होता है, फिर कम होते होते स्लो डाउन होके फिर when there is no more reaction that is happening, तो रेट फिर जीरो ही हो गया ना बेटे। रिमेंबर आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट कितनी प्रोडक्ट बनती है, मैं बात कर रहा हूँ कितनी जल्दी से बनती है। जब मैं रिएक्शन शुरू करूंगा तो बिल्कुल उस दैट इज द टाइम जब बिल्कुल सबसे ज्यादा तेजी से रिएक्शन हो रहा होगा इन जनरल केसेस, राइट? And as the reaction proceeds, the reactants are consumed up. And when they are consumed up, उनकी quantity कम होने लगती है, उनकी concentration कम होने लगती है. So rate of the reaction is bound to slow down, is bound to decrease. Agreed?
यस।
So हम कौन सा रेट पढ़ेंगे फिर? पता चला रिएक्शन शुरू होते one of you took the rate when the reaction started, the other one took the rate after half an hour. अब लड़ाई हो गई सर, मेरा तो रेट यार है, उसका रेट यार है. So we have to settle on one thing. Which rate will we be talking about?
सर द रेट ऑफ रिएक्टेंट कंजम्पशन।
नहीं, I'm talking about as the reaction proceeds. You are right. Rate तो हम reactant की consumption से ही link करेंगे. But कौन सा वाला rate? शुरू वाला, after 5 seconds, after 10 seconds, after half an hour, after 20 minutes. What? Which rate?
सर शुरू वाला शायद।
Very good, very good. The rate in concern will almost always be the initial rate. Is this right?
सर इनिशियल तो सबकी सेम ही होगी, मतलब बढ़ेगी मतलब।
इनिशियल एक होगी ना। रिमेंबर नाउ वी आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग द रिएक्टेंट्स की कंसंट्रेशन चेंज करके रेट कैसे चेंज होता है। फॉर एग्जांपल यू टुक द कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ A as 0.2 मोल पर dm and you observe the initial rate of reaction, बिल्कुल शुरू वाला, and then you change the concentration of A and you again observe the rate of reaction, again you observe the initial rate of reaction, you again change the concentration of A and you again observe the initial rate of reaction. So one mathematical possibility is कि observe कि सर मैं जितना एक concentration बढ़ाती हूँ, अगर मैं concentration double करती हूँ तो my rate also increases, right?
फिर इससे हम लोग कंपेयर कर सकते हैं ना
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. Remember you are
concentrations
varying
different
the
at different concentrations.
sorry दोबारा बोलो.
नहीं मैं ये कह रही थी कि फिर हम लोग कंपेयर कर सकते हैं कि at different concentrations the rate.
And we have set some standards, right? हम बात क्या कर रहे हैं that the rate, whichever rate we'll talk about, that will be the initial rate. Is this clear? So keep this in mind कि हम reaction तो proceed होगा तो सर rate तो कम होगा, the rate will gradually decrease, but we are focused on the initial rate. So if I change the concentration, मैं brand new reaction शुरू करूंगा, फिर उसका initial rate observe करूंगा. Is this clear or not?
Yes sir.
So the first mathematical possibility is कि सर directly proportional हो सकता है एक reactant के साथ. If you change the concentration of A and the rate is changing indirectly proportional to the concentration of A. So what will we say? This statement can be written: the reaction is first order with respect to A. If you change the concentration and you observe that concentration, अगर मैं double कर रहा हूँ, the concentration is being doubled, rate is increasing 4 times. If the concentration is being tripled, the rate is increasing 9 times. ये भी हो सकता है. This is a mathematical possibility. So then we'll say that the rate is proportional to the square of the concentration of A. And what will we call this? We'll say that if this is the case, we will say that the rate is second order. The reaction is second order with respect to A. Is this clear? So in short, if I ask you right now, what is the order of the reaction with respect to a particular reactant? What is order of the reaction with respect to a particular reactant?
First order.
नहीं, मैं पूछ रहा हूँ what is it? तीसरा ये भी हो सकता है. पहले देख लेते हैं, फिर मैं स्टेटमेंट को रिपीट करता हूँ. A to the power, सर A की concentration change कर रहे हैं, but the rate is not having any effect on it. The rate is the same. मैंने A की concentration बढ़ा के भी देख ली सर, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा. This happens and biology में तो बहुत सारे बच्चे इसको relate कर पाएंगे. There are many reactions जिसमें आप reactant की concentration बढ़ा रहे होते हैं, but the rate has no effect on it. So what will you say? The reaction is zero order. With respect. Is this clear? So if I ask you order of the reaction, can you tell me what the order of the reaction is up after going through this?
concentration से कुछ होगा. The change in concentration
नहीं, order का जो word है, understand this बच्चे. The word for order is being used for what? किस कहाँ नजर आ रहा है? The word that I'm using for the order, where do you see it?
The power.
Very good. It is the power to which the rate, it is the power of the concentration of the reactant to which the rate is proportional. Again, this is not a bookish definition. This is a conceptual definition that we have just gone through. Order of reaction. Is this clear or not? Sir, it is just the power of the concentration of the reactant to which the rate is proportional to. Is this clear or not?
सर
जी.
सर तो फिर क्या ये तीनों स्टेटमेंट्स मतलब हम यूज करते हैं ना?
Well, if I tell you, bete, the order of the reaction with respect to A is 0. अब आपको पता है सर, A की concentration change करने से order rate पे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा. If I tell you the order, इसको हम तो पता है, we know mathematics, we know that this can also mean that the rate is directly proportional to the concentration of A. Yes, but order के अगर मुझे लिखना हो तो I'll write that the order of the reaction with respect to A is 1. The order of the reaction with respect to A can also be 2. The order of the reaction with respect to A can also be 0, or I can say that the concentration of A has no effect on the rate of the reaction. Is this clear or not?
Clear, sir.
Yes.
So what is the order of the reaction? सर वो जो पावर होती है ना, जो हम रिएक्टेंट की लिख रहे हैं, जिसके रेट प्रोपोर्शनल है, उसको ऑर्डर भी कहते हैं. Is this clear? This is order of the reaction with respect to a particular reactant. ये बच्चे?
Yes.
Okay, now if I tell you that the reaction is second order with respect to B and first order with respect to A. Can you develop a mathematical link between the rate and the concentration of A and B? What will I say? Now the rate is proportional to
Double of the
no.
concentration.
B concentration squared.
जी मतलब वही.
Double nahi, double is different बच्चे. This is not double. Double means multiply by 2. This is not double. This is squared. This statement must lead me to this mathematical relationship. Is this clear or not?
Clear.
Clear बच्चे?
जी सर.
जी.
Okay, now another thing, if I ask you, what is the overall order of the reaction? If I ask you, what is the overall order of reaction? So order with respect to, looking at this example, order with respect to B is 2. Order with respect to A is 1. So can I say that the overall order of the above reaction? Can you tell me, bache?
Sir, 3.
Well done. Shabash. Brilliant. So again, what is the overall order of the reaction? It is the sum of the powers of the
2 reactants.
concentration of the reactants. या reactants लिख देता हूँ. Is this clear? Anything that is bothering you people? Anything that is not clear till now?
No, sir.
Clear, sir.
So these are very easy new terminologies that have been introduced to you for the very first time. Yes, sir, they are powers. अब समझ आया power क्यों नहीं बोलते हैं इसको? क्योंकि there can be many different reactants. Sir, उसकी power ये, इसकी power ये, उसकी power ये. So the better way to go about it is calling it the order of the reaction. So this looks very neat and it's easier to understand that, sir, order with respect to B is this, order with respect to A is this. इसके हिसाब से order ये, तब आप overall order of reaction बताएं. So this is something that we can easily do. And remember, which rate are we talking about? कौन से rate की बात कर रहे हैं?
Initial.
Initial rate. Is this clear till this point? Kindly note down all of the things that we are doing till now. Because all of this will be linked further in with graphs and everything as well later on. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
सर आप PDF दे देना.
Yeah, I'll send the PDF, don't worry. But फिर भी note down as we go along the class ताकि actively class को हम समझ सके. Okay. Now, what happens if I remove this proportionality sign? If I want to remove the sign of proportionality, what should I do?
Sir, constant आएगा.
Very good. O-level mathematics, sir. Add a constant and the entire thing remains as it is. Again, I'm using the example above. What is this thing called? पूरी equation क्या कहलाती है? This is called the rate equation. This entire equation is called the rate equation. Don't forget that equation has two sides. There is a left side and there is a right side. So what is on the left side? Rate. What is the unit of rate?
सर हर जगह मैथ्स क्यों आ जाती है?
The maths is everywhere. I cannot help it. So the unit of rate is mole per dm cube per second. And can you tell me the unit of concentration?
Mole per dm cube.
Very. How did you know it's mole per dm cube? There are many different units of concentration as well.
Because rate is concentration over time. तो फिर
Yes, you're right. Rate is concentration upon time. For us right now, rate is concentration upon time. But how do you know that concentration will be mole per dm cube in this case?
सर बिकॉज रेट और ये शायद डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल होते हैं तो यूनिट सेम होगा.
No, it's a very easy thing. A very
physics पे हम लोग moles पे जज कर रहे हैं ना.
You are right. ये सब बातें logically is fine. But just by if I show someone this equation and I ask them what is the unit of the concentration, how can they tell me that it's in mole per dm cube?
तो basic unit होता है.
No, gram per centimeter cube नहीं हो सकता.
सर आप बता दें.
Long brackets.
हाँ.
ज्यादा long bracket का तो मतलब ही concentration है. अब हम जिसमें भी लें.
No. In even in the previous equilibria topic, when we did partition coefficients, I specifically told you that long bracket in chemistry means concentrations in mole per dm cube. In partition
Okay.
coefficient, when you were
समझा
taking
गया.
concentration in gram per cm cube, I told you don't have to use long brackets, right? Long brackets
Yes.
automatically mean that the concentration is in mole per dm cube. It's understood. It's a standard for chemistry. If it's in any other unit, you cannot use long brackets. Is this clear, bache?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now if I ask you for this one, can you tell me the unit of the rate constant? What is this K? K is the rate constant. K is the rate constant. So if I ask you the unit for rate constant for this equation, K, the unit of K varies from equation to equation. Just like you people had different units for KC, equilibria में हर चीज का unit अलग होता था, हर equilibria का unit was different. Similarly, in this one, the value for the rate constant, sorry, the unit for the rate constant will vary for every rate equation. Every different rate equation will have a different unit for the rate constant. Can you tell me the unit for rate constant for this one?
फिर mole -2 dm -12 and
How
s
did you figure it
-1.
out? Let's see. Now I'm just writing the unit. You must have done it in
मैंने rearrange कर दिया ना,
very
तो
good.
फिर उस
You
हिसाब
must have
से
done it in AS physics as well. दोबारा देख लेते हैं. This is the unit for rate. I don't know the unit for K, but I know that this is mole per dm cube, and I have squared it. And then this is again mole per dm. So mole per dm cube per second. I don't know the unit for K, and this all will end up becoming mole cube dm minus 9. Is this right? Now mole cube dm minus
yes
9 is being multiplied here. It goes on the other side, it divides. The unit of K will become mole minus 2 dm6 and s. So obviously there are easier, quicker ways of doing this as well, but right now I'm just telling you how to do it. Once we start practicing questions, we'll figure out easier, shorter ways to get to this answer. Is this clear or not?
clear sir.
So the unit of K will vary from question to question. Please be very vigilant about it. Anything that is not understood till this point, please let me know. Is this clear, bete?
सर ये जो आपने
Yes,
सर जो आपने दूसरी वो जरा स्क्रीन तो लगाए
yes.
इसमें जो आपने लिखा है मोल dm -3s1 इक्वल्स टू k और ब्रैकेट में, तो फिर ये मोल स्क्वायर नहीं होना चाहिए, मोल क्यूब कैसे बन गया?
This will become mole square
ये
and
दूसरी
dm
बात।
minus 6. This will become mole square dm minus 6. Right, बच्चे?
अच्छा ठीक।
फिर वो दोबारा मोल से मल्टीप्लाई होगा ना. Remember ये the concentration of B is being squared here.
ओके
ठीक है बच्चे? K is what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what K is. I am putting in the units of everything else and trying to figure out the unit of K. Is this clear?
यस
Now there are many ways of figuring out the rate of a reaction. Let's try some question. Let's try this question. Okay, the first method of understanding or figuring out rate or order of reaction is through experimental data. What is this method called? Figuring out the order of the reaction through experimental data. How do we do this? It's a very easy task, but read the question first. And what special thing do you observe? मुझे वो भी बताना साथ साथ. Sir, हाँ देखिए लिखा हुआ है something like this. Anything that clicks in your head, sir, this is something that we should focus on.
फिर OH माइनस की जो कंसंट्रेशन है वो सेम है.
First two में same है. There are 3 experimental
yes first two में.
The question is provided us with 3 different experiments. One thing that you have to observe here is, sir, सबके ही initial rate दिए हुए हैं. There are 3 experimental variations that we have done in this question specifically. And for 3 experimental variations, सबके rate initial ही given है.
and for experiment 3 ethanol के लिए डबल हो रहा है ना.
अब इस तरह नहीं देखते. Understand this thing. पहले तो do you understand the question? अब how do we figure out the order when we are provided with the experimental data? We'll take two sets of experiments. कौन से दो सेट्स ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स ले जिसमें this CH3CHO ये चेंज हो रहा हो and all of the other things remain constant. I have experiment 1, 2 and 3. Which two experiments?
1 and 2.
Very good, 1 and 2. OH minus is not changing, so I'm not concerned about that. Sir, वो तो change ही नहीं हो रहा. What is happening to CH3CHO? What is happening to that? उसकी concentration क्या हुई है?
So increase.
कितनी? सिर्फ increase नहीं ना, double हो गई.
0.1 से
इस तरह नहीं
डबल हो गई.
double हो गई. How do we know कितनी increase हुई है? See, I'll tell you. Take the higher value divided by the lower value. Higher divided by lower. What is the higher value of the concentration? 0.2 divided by the lower value 0.1 से divide करो आपको पता चलेगा double हो गई है. Here the numbers are very easy, but just giving you a hint that if you are unable to figure out how many times it has multiplied, so take the higher value and divide it by the lower value. It will give you how many times has it multiplied. 0.2 divided by 0.1 करो 2 आ जाएगा. So double हो गई. What has happened to the rate?
Second order.
Rate के लिए भी वही काम करो. Take the higher value of rate and divided by the lower value of rate. तो rate भी क्या होगा?
2 हो जाएगा. Double हो गया.
Very good. So if the concentration is doubled and the rate is also doubled, कौन सा order हुआ ये?
First.
Second order.
First order हुआ बच्चे. Second का मतलब क्या होता है? Understand this thing परीक्षे. I'll come again. दोबारा से लेंगे. Second का मतलब है if the rate, if you increase the concentration, if you double the concentration, the rate increases 4 times. If you triple the concentration, the rate will increase 9 times. If you increase the concentration by 5 times, अगर concentration को 5 times बढ़ा रहे हो, तो rate 25 times बढ़ जाएगा उसके square से. Is this clear or not?
Yes.
So I ask you again, understand the relationship. You have just doubled the concentration and the rate has also doubled. The rate did not go 4 times, right? The rate has also doubled. What is the order with respect to CH3CHO?
First order.
Very good. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
We'll take this one very slowly and easily and try to understand the entire thing. Reduce the order of the reaction with respect to OH negative. Again, the target is the same. Sir, we need 2 such reactions in which just the OH minus is changing, but not CH3CHO. This one is a very easy example. Okay. एक बात तो we have figured it out. We established this. If we are unable to establish this, then we won't be able to understand what goes on after this. ये बात आपको समझ लेनी है कि CH3CHO से तो फर्स्ट ऑर्डर है. इसका का मतलब जब जब इसको डबल करूंगा तो रेट भी
Double.
इसको अगर 10 टाइम्स कर दूं so the rate will be
10 times.
10 times. इसको 5 टाइम्स कर दूं so rate will be
5 times.
5 times. Is this clear or not?
Yes.
जी sir.
So पहले observe, do I have any such 2 experiments जिसमें मैं ये कह सकूं कि मेरे पास जो है वो
नहीं है.
नहीं है. तो ऐसा एक्सपेरिमेंट
ऐसा कोई भी.
आ सकते हैं. नथिंग टू वरी अबाउट. देखो अब बात समझना. इफ मैं कहूं इसको मैं 0.4 करता and if I would have kept OH minus as constant, OH minus को चेंज नहीं करता तो रेट क्या होता मेरे पास? If I would have just increased the concentration of CH3CHO, सिर्फ उसकी concentration में ये वाली कर देता 0.4, and I would not have changed. मुझे पता है ना इसको बढ़ाने से रेट कितना बढ़ता, तो what would have been the rate then? रेट कितना हो जाता सिर्फ इसको बढ़ाने से? विच वन आर वी कंपेयरिंग इट विथ? हम इसको फर्स्ट और फोर्थ कंपेयर कर रहे हैं। फर्स्ट से दिस इज द फोर्थ एक्सपेरिमेंट हम खुद बना रहे हैं, बिकॉज वी नो कि सर इससे ऑर्डर क्या है, वी हैव फिगर्ड इट आउट। फर्स्ट से देखा जाए तो कितने टाइम्स बढ़ा दिया? हाउ मेनी टाइम्स हैव वी इंक्रीज्ड द कॉन्सेंट्रेशन? 4 टाइम्स, राइट?
फोर सेकेंड ऑर्डर।
नो 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 नो, डोंट बी इन अ रश बच्चे, अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग। सिर्फ CH3CHO को 4 टाइम्स करने से रेट पे क्या फर्क पड़ता? आई जस्ट आस्क्ड यू, बहुत आसानी से। ऑर्डर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू CH3CHO इज
वन।
इथेनॉल से ऑर्डर 1 है। व्हाट डज दैट मीन? अगर मैं इथेनॉल को डबल कर रहा हूं तो रेट भी
डबल होगा।
इथेनॉल को इफ आई डू 3 टाइम्स देन द रेट विल बी, हाँ बेटे,
3 टाइम्स।
ओके। इफ आई इंक्रीज इथेनॉल 5 टाइम्स द रेट विल
3
बी,
टाइम्स 5 टाइम्स।
अगेन अब मैं पूछ रहा हूँ इथेनॉल को अगर मैंने ये कर दिया है 0.4, अगर सिर्फ इथेनॉल को 0.4 करता तो रेट क्या होना चाहिए था? OH को चेंज नहीं किया। कंपेयर इट विद द वेरी फर्स्ट वन। कितने टाइम्स हो गया इथेनॉल? अब 0.1 से अगर 0.4 हो जाता है
4 टाइम्स हो गया।
4
4
टाइम्स, तो रेट
टाइम्स।
कितना हो जाना चाहिए था?
4 टाइम्स।
4 टाइम्स, राइट और रॉन्ग? This is a fourth experiment that
राइट।
we constructed on our own, knowing the order of the reaction. अब मुझे एक बात बताओ, compare the fourth and the third one. इसमें whatever I told you, take the higher value divided by the lower value. Fourth और third में, this is our fourth experiment. Fourth and third experiment में only OH minus is changing, right or wrong? Right बच्चे? कितने टाइम्स हो रहा है OH माइनस? हाइड्रोक्साइड कितने टाइम्स बढ़ रहा है?
तो डबल हो गया है।
And what about the rate? Higher divided by lower, वो भी डबल हो
डबल
गया।
हो गया।
Now can I say that order with respect to OH minus is
वन।
1? Brilliant. Is this clear बेटे?
सर जो मतलब क्योंकि इसमें यहाँ पर इथेनॉल की सेम नहीं थी तो हम लोगों ने खुद ही इसकी सेम कर दी।
We know कि इथेनॉल की इतनी वेरिएशन से रेट पे कितनी वेरिएशन आती है, we are well aware of it, right? I
अच्छा
just